on the numbering down from the top, the fourth, the second presented, but the fourth from the top of the page of Councilmember Brown's amendments. Since we have no one else in the queue, we will move to vote on the item. Favoring? Opposed?
No.
Roll call. We have to have this on the record, so that we
Yes,
fix anything
yes,
goes
ma'am,
wrong in
would
this
it- would
industry.
a-
We have a record of what happened.
Ma'am, would a show of hands suffice, or would you?
That'll be fine. So if it can be read into the record of the
Yes, ma'am.
okay, thank you.
Voting no. If you raise your hands, voting no.
This is the main motion.
Correct. And voting yes for, no, not the main motion. I'm sorry. This is for amendment.
I'm sorry, if we can have a recording of who's raising their hands.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you, those who voted yes for the amendment, raise your hands, please. That would be Councilmember Brown and Councilmember Wong. 2 yes votes. Voting no for the amendment be the remainder of council members of the chamber with 2 council members absent.
All right, thank you.
The motion fails. Are there other amendments? Chair recognizes Councilmember Brown.
Let's go ahead and tackle the big one. The first one on the page, by deleting items 9 and 10 of subsection B of section 7-88 and renumerating the remaining items accordingly. That is the photograph requirement and the thumbprint. That's the first item on my list of proposed motions.
Discussion, Councilmember Brown.
I just have a question. She said moving non-print, and what was the other one?
The photograph requirement.
Item, the very first,
If I delete items 9 and 10, and if you go to the ordinance proposal in our agenda packet, it's item number 9 and 10 is the
Oh, so
photograph.
it's not, we're gonna get amendment,
It's
it's
just
just
delete
for
those 2 items.
Okay, so that means you're taking away the photo and the thumbprint. And the basis of us doing the photo and the thumbprint is for
It's for having a picture, and I think Councilmember Bradford worded this perfectly. It's invaluable to have a picture of the person that is making that transaction at that moment in time. I realize we're asking for an ID already, and we can get a copy of that, but that who's to say, one, that is them, and two, if we were to come back into the store and say, ask the owner, is this the person? Well, I don't know, this is a picture I had, and I can't remember. So it's invaluable having a digital photograph, not a mugshot, a digital photograph of that person as they're doing the transaction.
And I have another question for you. You said that you met with 250 of the business owners, that's a record. Now, when you brought these particular amendments to them about what we were proposing, what was the communication back to you concerning this addition?
Yes, Councilmember Adams, our unit was formed over a year ago, and before we presented any of these ideas publicly, we had several meetings with the business owners, with the stakeholders at their request and our request, more than 5 at least, to give the citywide an opportunity to come and share these views. So over a year's time, in real time, we'll be able to convey these possible changes to the business community with very little to no blowback.
So far, among the businesses that you communicated with within this year's time, there wasn't any pushback concerning this new addition of the photos, fingerprints. No one said we don't want to do it. Everyone basically, you can say particularly on board with what we were trying to.
Well, I have to say there was honest discussion about it, but I think that once the feeling was conveyed about our position and about the way our society is these days, you walk into 24-hour fitness, you have to scan your thumbprint to walk in the doors. Kiosks in the malls now are requiring, if you want to sell a phone, you have to stand there and have your picture taken in order to recycle your phone. That's our society these days. I don't think the public in general would have a problem with any kind of digital photograph or a thumbprint if they're on legitimate circumstances.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Wong.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank the officers for trying to closely me to vote for the main item here without any amendment. Good argument that you come to, even like me, go to the 24-hour fitness and have to use my thumbprint. actually I have to give my photo ID before applying for it, things like that. Question is this, suppose if we are going to amend this and say, well, if you are going to sell the precious metal, you have two options. One, if you are going to receive a check, you don't have to have it, you don't have to. You don't have to fingerprint, or you don't have to have the photo ID. But if you are going to receive cash, then you have to have it. Is that okay? Is that better? You give them a little bit leeway, choice to decide. We still would catch if that person is a criminal, and with the check here, he or she is going to cash it. We know exactly who that person is. So
Those are great options, and that's a great option maybe to address in the future if we had to change anything. But the reason we wrote it up and proposed it the way we did is just because the value of a picture while you're doing a transaction is just, it's what we're, the most important thing. Yeah, it is, that's right, it's what they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now, that doesn't mean someone's ID picture, that means a picture of that person actually doing the transaction.
but don't you think it's a great option?
Is it an option? You're absolutely right, it's an option.
But if it is a great option, and once this is going to pass, I don't think it will come back. They will come back and do an amendment. It's very hard. So why can't I, if I would propose an amendment today, will it be okay with you?
Councilmember, here's the way I'm gonna work that. I put a year's worth of time and effort, and what I really feel like was good, honest effort in asking these things. And so you come in and changing, while I may think that might be an idea that could be used, I feel that what we have proposed is the best one.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. And on this, I have to defer to our law enforcement experts that are on the ground. And my concern is really the victims out in the community, which is why you're really trying to enhance this, is you're working with the businesses to make this hopefully a smooth transition for them. It sounds like you've gone to great lengths to do that. But we have to think about the number of people that are victimized. Some city employees that I know of that their homes have been targeted just for the simple theft of jewelry. It's a growing concern. That's why HPD formed a unit specifically to address this very important issue. Now, I'll defer to their expertise in law enforcement, but I've been there as well in a previous life. And let me say that with the ID, while it's important, anyone could say, hey, my ID was stolen, it was used by someone else, but that picture, if you make that transaction, it was clearly you. Someone else could use that ID, it could be manipulated in other ways, and we understand that, but I think this is a good way forward. They've done their homework on this. We have a specific unit, and they have the expertise to do this. That's why I'm supportive of what they're proposing at this time. I understand the other things, but we also heard from Mr. Rex Solomon from Houston Jewelry that has over 6,000 transactions, and he spoke in support of it. He said, look, I've been using it, it's good, it's not we have no complaints from our customers. So I understand there's both sides to it, but that's what we have. We've heard both sides of it. I'm going to defer to your expertise on this and knowing what's happening on the ground and what's needed. I want to give you every tool possible.
Councilmember Burks.
Thank you, Mayor. I have several questions I'm going to ask Attorney Feldman if he could help me out with this. How much is a misdemeanor?
It's subject to a maximum of $500 fine,
That's a max of $500.
unless it's a matter involving safety, which this is not.
This is not. Now, and how much would the fine be? I know that on the amendment it says it would be punishable with a fine. I'm a little lost right now, but I'm speaking just to get clarity.
That amendment was defeated. The ordinance provides that it's a misdemeanor, and so under our ordinances, that's a Class C misdemeanor subject to a maximum $500 fine.
Okay. That's what I want to understand. Thank you.
Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. And whereas technically it's not a matter of all safety, supposedly that's the whole premise of this proposal, is to fight crime and have more safety in our cities. But it's all about, I think it's Thomas Jefferson who once said, well, for us to choose to give up a little bit of liberty for a little bit of safety, we're going to end up losing both. It's when you have businesses choosing to do this, that's the American way. If you have gyms that want to go get thumbprints and the photographs or whatever, that's their choice. But for government to mandate that every customer coming into one of these industry businesses get their photograph taken, their thumbprint taken for every transaction, any transaction dealing with precious metals, it's ridiculous for us to think that even though you have 99.99% of these clienteles, these transactions that are legit, it may go to 100% legit, but these criminals, they're going to be going elsewhere. It's not going to stop crime. For us to think that criminals are going to raise up their hands and say, okay, well, we have a new ordinance in the city of Houston, I'm going to stop committing crime, it's ludicrous. I had an officer who came and spoke before a civic convention, and he was talking about the burglary of automobiles. These guys, when they get caught, they spend a little time in jail, and they go right back at it. It's not going to stop them. Even if we were to submit to get a mugshot and their fingerprints and say, okay, you got me, I'm going to spend a little time, we'll be right back at it. But they're not even going to submit to that. So why even ask the legal law-abiding people to submit to this, to create a massive database of everyone and anyone in the city of Houston who buys and sells gold and silver? It's ridiculous. And it's not going to prevent crime, and it's not going to solve any crimes.
I can't speak to the criminal mind and what they will or won't do. What I can speak to is that if we make it tougher on them, I mean, they don't want to get caught. You would at least agree with me there, right? Criminals don't want to get caught.
They don't care to spend a little time in jail. They're professionals.
I kind of think they probably don't want to get caught, but
If they don't want to get caught, they're not going to be submitting to mugshot to take a thumbprint.
that's exactly right. And I love that you actually proved my point by saying that they want to leave our city, because that's what we want here in the city of Houston. We don't want them here.
Already, most thefts committed in the city of Houston, the property goes elsewhere. That's already the case.
Online, so they can see all that.
Councilmember, respectfully, the officers are here to answer specific technical questions, not to engage in debate.
Sorry.
Officers.
And so again, this is not going to help. It's just almost a safety theater. Make us feel safe. It's actually not going to accomplish anything. We need to be conscious of the liberties of individuals, be respectful of our law-abiding citizens, and actually get down to fighting the criminals in a really appropriate fashion. And as we reside in the United States of America, we've gone way beyond what our founding fathers had envisioned for this nation.
And for future reference, it was a Benjamin Franklin quote. Councilmember, Mayor, Vice Mayor Pro Tem Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for the record, I state that I believe the officers have done a really good job doing some research and coming forward with a proposed ordinance, and the idea of a digital photograph and fingerprint, that is clearly an enhancement. It's a great tool, no doubt about that, but do I believe that is necessary to accomplish this objective? I don't. But I believe it's a good tool. And because criminals are not going to walk in and accept a check. They're simply not going to do that. They are, if they do, they must present some identification up front to get the check, and when they cash the check at some later point, they have to present ID to cash that check, and have to get fingerprinted also. That's why I like the idea that if it's a cash transaction, you must do the digital photograph and the thumbprint, because most of the transactions are legitimate transactions. They are honest people going in just to commiserate a business deal. Having said that, let's make it as difficult for the criminals as possible. As I said, it's a good tool. Now true, I do believe that they are not going to go in and partake in this activity at these locations. If we pass this, they will go elsewhere. Well, let's make them go elsewhere. The downside is that we've done all that we can within our authority and our jurisdiction to send them elsewhere. Now, still, items that are stolen in Houston will be taken elsewhere.